My grandpa's name is George Francis Cope, and I think he hates both of his names. It's really funny because I think he's told my dad that he doesn't want it to be passed down. Let's see, Grandpa George he's kind of like cranky in a way, and like he always complains about people, but he still loves them anyway. I guess there's not like too much to say about him because like I'm not around him all the time. It all started with a halo line, actually. And there was this girl in front of us, and she had a rat on her shoulders. I got used to the rat, and I actually like held it and petted it. And she had extra rats, or an extra rat, and I convinced my parents to let me have it. And one day I come home from school, and I hear like squeaking, and I see a ton of little pink things. And I decided to keep the runt of the girls, and I named her Little Moo, and I kept her and her mom's name was Kuna. I noticed this thing growing under her arm, and as hers got bigger, Kuna's she had a bump appear, and like I figured out they were tumors, like I told my parents about them, and then they just kept getting bigger, and I remember Little Moo having like a really hard time to walk because it was so big and it was right under her arm. And I guess the significance of this was that like this was my first real experience with death that had affected me. Because this sounds really bad, but when my grandpa died, like I didn't know him that well. I didn't have that attachment. And like in thinking about that though, I thought about how much I had neglected my rats, and like I took them in as pets, but I didn't really pay attention to them. And so I started thinking about my grandpa and how like I kind of took him for granted, like I took my rats for granted, and I was like, I wish I got to know him better. And so I don't know, it was upsetting, and so I guess I've been trying to be better with the grandpa that I still have living. I try and write him more than I wrote my other grandpa, and I try and call him even sometimes. So I'm like working on making those attachments and just being a better animal owner and granddaughter.